Hello everyone, my name is T. Hunter. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you so much for coming back. So today I wanted to do something a bit different. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie M3gan. Yes, that's the one involving the human-like artificial intelligence doll. But no, I'm not going to focus on the actual doll. I want to focus my attention on the therapist in this movie and how she interacted with the family. So the therapist in this movie, her name is Lydia, and I don't know who advised this particular actress on how to come across in terms of a therapist's personality and behavior, especially when you are working with a family who was dealing with a major trauma, such as death and the abrupt change of caregivers. So spoiler alert, the main character in this movie, her name is Aunt Gemma, and she has become the legal guardian of her niece Katie because unfortunately Katie lost her parents in a tragic car accident. So Aunt Gemma is a roboticist, so she is very into, science, mathematics, and she doesn't have any children. They don't even portray her as being in a relationship in this movie. So it seems like work is something that is pretty much taking the priority or the #1 spot in her life for right now, which is fine. When you're single, dedicate as much time as you can to your education. If you're planning on pursuing a career that will require a lot of your time, when you're single, that is the perfect time to do it. So not shading her for that. However, it is very clear that she's having a crash course pretty much in what it's like to be a parent. So the very first time that we meet Lydia, the therapist, she came across as a bit detached, possibly even judgmental of the fact that Katie doesn't have a lot of toys at Aunt Gemma's house. Well, she just moved in, so there are things that are probably not unpacked yet. I'm sure there are toys in boxes. And another thing that I had noticed when she came into the house, Aunt Gemma was saying, we were just hanging out, watching TV at this time. And the therapist, Lydia, comes in and she notices that Katie is still in her pajamas. And she comments on it and says, oh, look at you, like still in your pajamas. But it wasn't, I just felt like that comment wasn't necessary, especially on your first time meeting someone. And let me backtrack a little bit. When Aunt Gemma opened the door, clearly she's overwhelmed. She's taking a lot of time off of work. I mean, her sister and her brother-in-law, for goodness sake, have just died. And she is now the legal guardian and parent to her niece. So that's a lot for anyone, the most organized person that could send them into a bit of a tailspin. When Aunt Gemma opened the door, the therapist kind of had this air about her, like, here I am, you should know who I am, I'm coming in to save the world and to do all of the things. And Aunt Gemma's looking at her like, can I help you? So you coming to the house and assuming that Aunt Gemma is going to know who you are, she's got a lot going on, clearly. The quality of the therapeutic relationship relies heavily on the client or clients feeling comfortable with the therapist and vice versa. I don't know about you, but I find it very hard to open up to someone that I don't feel comfortable with, whether that is a professional such as a licensed therapist or even family members or friends or colleagues, whoever that is. If there's not a sense of trust, and if I don't sense that the two of us are working on a positive rapport where we trust each other and just have basic respect for each other's feelings, thoughts, differences of opinions, being able to bond and then share something as major as your feelings to a traumatic event like losing your parents, and I don't see how that's going to happen. It almost seemed like the therapist was, I don't know if she had these conversations about what to expect in the therapeutic process with Aunt Gemma, because when she came on the scene, it just seemed like you should know why I'm here, you should know who I am, and you should know how this is supposed to work. And I thought, Okay, so we're taking the approach of I'm the expert, so listen to me, as opposed to I might be the person holding the degree, but you are the expert of your situation. So if we're going to work together effectively, what are your goals? What are your fears? What are your concerns? How do you want treatment to go? Like, what direction do you want this treatment process to take? So instead of approaching it as a collaborative helper, um, it seemed like Lydia was more so portrayed as cold, distant, detached, and almost like she would rather be doing anything other than therapy with this woman and her niece, who have just, their worlds have been shaken up in the most tragic of ways. In her observations, like Lydia told Aunt Gemma, okay, I'm going to just observe you hanging out. Maybe you guys could play with a toy together. And with play therapy, there are so many different ways to do it. Oftentimes it is child led. Children, they communicate through play. So sometimes, when I was working with children, parents might wonder, why is she playing board games with us? I want to talk about the nitty gritty details. Okay, the reason why I, along with other mental health professionals, may play or draw, color with kids is because that is their common language. If kids don't understand anything else, they know how to play, they know how to draw, they know how to color, whether it's very well and artistic or just simply stick figures, whatever. It's a way that we can come in and join with the kid on something that they are comfortable with. So that's why we do it. But instead of there being a conversation of, hey, I'm going to observe you two playing, let your niece Katie take the lead, Aunt Gemma, and I'll see how you two interact with each other. Like, how well can you listen to instructions? Or if Katie has a very active imagination, like, how do you respond to that? So instead of there being like just the disclaimers of, this is what will be happening, and this is what to expect. The informed consent process, we just see Lydia coming across as bossy in her observations. It didn't seem like Lydia trusted that Gemma was going to be a good caregiver off of a, what, 20-second clip that I saw. So I thought, oh, seems like Gemma has lost before she has even started. So it was rather off-putting, and I was cringing and thinking to myself, wow, I pray that I am never so consumed with whatever tasks I have to complete, whether it were in an assessment or consultation type of appointment or doing the actual work with someone, that I'm not personable and I'm not taking time to ask them questions and get to know them and show that I'm human just like them. Yes, I have the degree and yes, I have the experience, but I haven't walked a day in their shoes. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed that Lydia in this movie, she didn't come across as a therapist who was having a good day or seemed to understand how important it is for her to be patient, for her to be curious, compassionate, and just extending grace towards a young girl and her aunt who are tackling life in a way that they never thought they would have to. Overall, I thought the movie was pretty great. You'll have to watch it for the rest of that. As I said, I just wanted to focus my attention on the therapist in this movie, and it was definitely an eye opener for me. Um, Definitely one of those things where sometimes you have to see it play out in order to understand what not to do, and also how easy it is to make the mistake of coming in with the very, the very strong and forward energy of, okay, I'm here to fix everything and you just better be ready to be on board and buckle up for the ride. That doesn't often work. Therapy can be slow moving, especially if the client or clients are, if they're actively dealing with trauma. Like, they could be shell shocked. And there's also the possibility that some people that are presenting for therapy have had negative experiences with previous counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever the title may be. So then they come into the room and they have guards up, and that's okay. No one should be expected to spill their entire life story, especially their entire trauma story, to a stranger that they have only known for a few minutes. It is okay to take time to build trust and rapport before diving into the nitty-gritty of why you're in therapy. So yeah, for those of you who are watching, whether you are an aspiring mental health professional or you have been in the business for longer than I've been alive, let's just remember like how important it is for us to join with the clients. And even if you never plan on entering into the mental health field, there's nothing wrong with approaching people with curiosity. Asking questions about them, showing that you have a genuine interest in who they are as a person, will get you so much further than kind of just performing these, coming in with the approach of, this is an interview, or I'm just here to tick a couple of boxes and then I'll be out your hair. If you want to get deeper, you're going to have to be willing to create the space for intimate details to be disclosed. So that is all that I have for today. If you have enjoyed this content, please feel free to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a future post. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.